everyone, and welcome to another brand new episode of The Completionist, where we don't just beat the games, we complete them. And today in the Completionist Kitchen, we're going to be making a remake of a cult classic, Panzer Dragoon. Start off with an arcade-style hour-long campaign. Add some fun on-rails gameplay with a healthy pinch of some cheat codes. Sprinkle on some incredible world building and, of course, a dragon. Mix this all together, and then we'll be putting all of this into the oven for exactly 100 hours. Alright, let's see what we made, and oh, it's burnt and leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Looks like 100 hours was way too long for something this simple. Who would have thought?
Here comes a new challenger! Yes! Danger!
As you all know, Final Fantasy VII is one of my favorite games of all time. The epic storytelling and impressive graphics blew young Gerard's mind back in the day. This was the greatest RPG I'd ever experienced at the time, and I thought there was nothing else like it in the world. Little did I know that another epic RPG experience was happening over on the Sega Saturn. Panzer Dragoon Saga is a cult classic RPG that fans to this day say is way better than Final Fantasy VII. They say the combat is faster, graphics are better, and the story is stronger. These fans are so dedicated to the lore of this franchise that there are tons of forums online dedicated to its deep analysis. But it's not just the fans who think that Panzer Dragoon Saga is the greatest game of all time. It also has the highest critical rating of any game on the Sega Saturn. Fans think it's incredible. Critics think it's incredible. So why am I finally looking at the series now? Well, that's because of my patrons over at Patreon. I'm very grateful to everyone in the mini producer tier who suggested this game. In fact, this month mini producers can help decide which Wii game I'll be completing in the near future. So, if you want to join us, head on over there and let me know. But when the patrons suggested this, there was something I didn't realize. This wasn't Panzer Dragoon Saga, this was Panzer Dragoon. And Panzer Dragoon is a completely different beast from its RPG brethren. How so? Well, first off, Panzer Dragoon isn't an RPG. It's an on-rail shooter. And I have to admit, this was disappointing at first. But then I realized that I'm essentially playing Star Fox, but my R-Wing is replaced with a freaking armored dragon. So that's pretty badass. And if this is the game that leads to what some people are calling the greatest RPG of all time, then I can't wait to get started. The game starts out with paragraphs describing the world we're in. A lost civilization. People using cybergenetic warfare. A dark tower that provides evil ancient technologies. This is the background we get when we meet our main character, Kyle Flug. We see Kyle riding through the desert with two other men, hunting some scorpion-type things, until he's taken to a mysterious location where he sees two people on dragons battle it out. After losing, the man on the blue dragon makes a telepathic connection with our main character and tells him to stop the man on the dark dragon from reaching the tower. The man then dies. Kyle gets on the blue dragon and the two ride out to stop the dark dragon to save the world. This is a lot of background for a simple on-rail shooter, but it is this deep background that helped Panzer Dragoon set the groundwork for what would be the best Saturn game of all time. So, I'm ready to dive into the feast that is the Panzer Dragoon universe. Every foodie can tell you that an excellent meal begins with the first course or an appetizer. This serves as a nice lead-in into the rest of the meal. And while Panzer Dragoon Remake makes for a nice appetizer for the rest of the series, the lack of content and short length don't justify the price tag or what it asks for Completionists. It starts off great. The game looks beautiful. The updated graphics are gorgeous, and I absolutely love the art design. Each level brings up a completely different emotion, whether it's the sinking remains of an ancient civilization, or a dark cavern filled with modern and primordial machinations. Everything feels like a mixture between Dune and Avatar, and I'm all for it. Also, the game is fun. It plays like every on-rail shooters. Move along a set path and fire at enemies that get in your way. And while you do have a laser you can fire over and over, it's more fun to use your homing laser. If you hold the firing button, you can lock onto multiple enemies and shoot them all down at once. This is incredibly satisfying and helps separate Panzer Dragoon from other shooters. You can also look around using L2 and R2. These shift your screen 90 degrees, allowing you to see all around you. This not only helps you in seeing what enemies are coming, but helps make the boss fights seem much bigger and epic. It almost becomes a cinematic experience and makes you want to tackle the next level as soon as possible. Unfortunately, there aren't many levels to tackle. There are only 7, and some of them were shorter than the opening cutscene. My first playthrough only lasted 53 minutes. That's okay, because I can easily try out the time trial mode and... Oh wait. No, that's not a thing. Okay. And how about some extra levels created for the new game? No? Okay. A multiplayer mode. Unlockables. Anything? Wait. There's literally nothing else other than to play the hour-long campaign over and over again? Yo, this cost me 25 bucks, and that's just for a digital copy. Physical copy costs 40. That's ridiculous. But you know what? This is supposed to be more of an arcade experience. Let's get the perfect score. You get scored at the end of each level based on how many enemies you hit and receive a ranking at the very end of the game. So, I hit every single enemy in the game, earning myself the Winged Death ranking. And you know what? I had only killed a few more hours. Now, I completely understand wanting to remain faithful to the original Panzer Dragoon, but there's absolutely not enough content to justify dropping $25 right here. Hades is the exact same price, and the main campaign without trying to complete it is about 20 hours. That being said, there were some attempts at giving Panzer Dragoon Remake some playability to little effect. The first is with cheat codes. There are some cheat codes that you can put into the title screen that add some variety to gameplay. These include the super weapons where you don't have to mash the fire button to shoot multiple times, and God mode that makes you completely invincible. Now these make subsequent playthroughs easier, but not really that much more fun. Another code unlocks Episode 0, a level cut from the original game. This is a gauntlet mode where you need to keep killing enemies to keep your health gauge from dwindling down. Now this is fun for a little bit, but since it's just the same enemies over and over and over again on an empty ocean, it lacks the same beauty and charm that the main game has. The last way the developers tried to extend the game was through the trophies. Now most of these trophies are fine. Some are skill-based, like having to hit at least 70% of enemies on every level. Or they're humor-based, like the Leroy Jenkins trophy, where you have to try and get through a level without hitting any enemies. However, there is one specific trophy that really makes me mad. To earn the Lifeless trophy, you have to play the game for a total of 100 hours. For a game that's less than an hour, you need to play it for 100 hours. Look, I know you can just boot up the game and leave it on the menu screen for 100 hours straight to probably get the trophy, but that's not what the developers intended. No, they wanted you to play this game for a total of 100 hours. That means you need to play this campaign more than 100 times. I say more because you're gonna want to try some of these cheat codes. I mean, who wouldn't? Experiencing the same exact thing over and over again is boring, but if you activate any of the cheat codes, the timer stops keeping track of your playthrough times until you quit the game and start it up again. We're being punished for using the things that they put into the game to make the game more enjoyable. This is like if you were eating chicken tenders, and every time you dipped them into a sauce, a waiter would come over, slap it out of your hands, and then give you another naked chicken tender. Look, I just want sauce on my tenders, man, damn. There are so many ways this game could have extended its playtime better. Why not add different paths to different levels, like in Star Fox? Or even add different dragons and riders to change up the gameplay a little bit. Now, I know this is a remake and that you want to be faithful to the original, but this is now the era of Final Fantasy VII Remake. What you can do with the remake is completely open-ended. Instead, Panzer Dragoon Remake tries to make an appetizer into an entree by just making you consume it more. And that just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Even though there wasn't much to do in regards to the actual game, the completion bonus is pretty fantastic. If you beat the game once on any difficulty, you are rewarded with a cheat code after the credits. If you input this code, you get access to the shadow menu. Here, you can access an image gallery or Pandora's box. Pandora's box makes you able to skip any episode or cutscene of the game. Not only that, but you get even more cheat codes to enjoy. This includes activating God mode legitimately, adding a speed up option in the levels, and the ability to ride around with just a dragon and no rider. And this is all great, but none of this makes me want to play the game for 100 hours. Not that it would matter anyways, since activating these cheats also makes the in-game timer stop. Look, Panzer Dragoon Remake is a ton of fun. There's an actual reward for beating the game, which is increasingly rare nowadays. If this game was $10 or even $15, I would say it was absolutely worth the investment. But there just isn't enough actual game to justify buying the game at its current price and increasing your electric bill just to get an inconsequential trophy. After this whole process, I just kind of feel annoyed. My first playthrough of the campaign was a blast, but when nothing was changing, it got really boring really quickly. And when I found out the devs wanted me to do this for 100 hours, I just got mad. Play Panzer Dragoon Remake for however long you want to have fun with it. Then maybe you won't be nearly as frustrated as I am. When I completed Panzer Dragoon Remake, there were 2 deaths, both of which were needed in order to earn 2 trophies. 3 playthroughs completed on each difficulty. That's essentially $8 per playthrough. 8 individual episodes beaten, including episode 0. 23 trophies earned that are mostly fine, except for the lifeless trophy. 5 hours of total playtime with an additional 98 hours spent just sitting on the main menu for that awful trophy. And one nickname that finally makes sense for all of you at home. For the first time ever on this show, I am actually the Dragon Rider. While Panzer Dragoon Remake wasn't While Panzer Dragoon Remake wasn't what I thought it would be, I still loved playing it. It is so much freaking fun, and the world building is absolutely fantastic. I can't wait to revisit the other games in this franchise. That being said, you only get a couple of hours of actual playtime for a $25 price tag, and that's including getting most of the trophies. The fact that there is a 100-hour trophy makes this whole experience not worth completing. If you want to give Panzer Dragoon Remake a shot, I'd say wait for it to go on sale on whatever platform you prefer and pick it up then. So, with that in mind, guys, I give this game my completionist rating of finish it.
Finish it!